What's going on with you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's good to be back making another video for this Dallas Cowboys season. I didn't do the videos when they played I didn't do the video when they played Atlanta or Philly. I was trying to stay focused on school, been studying really hard, been trying to finish out the semester strong. I know it hasn't been easy for me on the challenges that I faced throughout this year and been going through a lot of ups and downs, but I'm hanging in there, y'all, so thank y'all for being patient with me. Just found out the news Wednesday that Ian Rappaport reported from NFL Network that Dak Prescott's season is officially done. Found out that he's gonna need surgery to repair his hamstring bone that that he felt when he was throwing the pass against Atlanta. He felt a hamstring pop in the back, and it turns out it will require surgery. So he's gonna miss the remainder of the season. This was not the best season for Dak Prescott. I know back in July when he was in Mexico, he was wearing the boot, and I thought was there an issue. It turns out he was dealing with ankle soreness. He worked really hard in training camp to try to carry in some momentum heading into this season, because I know last year he put up big records last season in 2023. The only wins that Dak has gotten us so far was against Cleveland, the Giants, and the Steelers. And I know Dak Prescott got paid all that money for the 4-year deal, that for the $240 million on how much they got paid. Kinda not expecting that Wednesday. No, it's sad to not see Dak Prescott play for the remainder of the season, but I wish him a speedy recovery. Hope he gets well soon. Hopefully he rehabs, learn from this season, learn from the mistakes, and come back stronger next season. And right now we're 3-6 on the season. I know last week's game against the Eagles was kind of embarrassing because the offense just couldn't get anything going. Cooper Rush took over and couldn't do nothing because we just didn't have enough weapons on offense. And Micah Parsons came back last week. He made a big play. The defense tried to go in there to try to get the offense back in the game, but Philly's D-line was kind of good. They were shutting out Cooper Rush and just didn't make enough plays on offense. And Zeke Elliott fumbled the ball, which turned the game around. And Trey Lance took over, and then we just couldn't do nothing. And I know the season's been kind of rough from all the injuries we faced, and we were getting criticized for not signing the big players during free agency. But I know the season's been kind of rough, guys, but they just gotta learn from some of the tough games that they had. Found out that they signed Will Greer to the practice squad, and Trey Lance and Cooper Rush. We have a big game coming up this Monday night against the interstate rivals, against the Houston Texans, and they'll battle for the Lone Star State rivalry game. The last time the Cowboys defeated the Texans was 2022 when Zeke Elliott ran it in for the game-winning touchdown, and 2014 when Tony Romo escaped J.J. Watt on that play to help us win that game in overtime with a walk-off field goal. The Houston Texans, many people were making lots of bets back in July about that they could win it all this season, but right now the Texans have been struggling. They had a big lead last week against Detroit, but Detroit came back and won that game, and then all of a sudden they got embarrassed by the Jets on Halloween night. I know Stephon Diggs, that big player that they signed in free agency, is done with the season with a torn ACL. And I know they've been kind of struggling on offense, and that's a playoff team right there that was in the playoffs last year. Cooper Rush will be starting for this game on Monday Night Football against the Houston Texans at AT&T Stadium. And I know we've been struggling at home this season. It kind of was not the way I expected it to be, but and I know it's been kind of ups and downs that we faced at AT&T Stadium, because we just weren't making the right plays, and that they can't be going for 2-yard passes, which isn't going to work. But I'm gonna stay optimistic, guys. I mean, I think Cooper Rush can bounce back from last week's game because Cooper Rush was undrafted when he came to Dallas in 2017. He did good in 2022 when Dak went out with a broken thumb. He's 5-2 as a starter. He still kind of reminds me more of Tony Romo a little bit. I expect him to play better Monday night, and hopefully he learns from last week's game. That was kind of embarrassing. Here are my keys to a Cowboys victory over these Houston Texans in the Lone Star State rivalry. 1, you gotta get off to fast starts. And I know we've been going for field goals in the first half. You can't always go with field goals. You gotta go with the touchdowns, because that allows the offense to stay in the game to create the momentum heading into the second half. My second key to the game is that Dallas has to stop the run, and they gotta stop C.J. Stroud, because C.J. Stroud made a lot of big plays last season, but this season, this isn't the same C.J. Stroud that we saw last year, who led Houston to the playoffs. Micah Parsons has to get this defense fired up, and they got to stop this Houston team. This Texans team on offense has been struggling with some of the plays that they weren't making right against Detroit. They got to get after C.J. Stroud and make the turnovers. That's what Trayvon Diggs did last week against Philly. You got to stop C.J. Stroud, and you got to stop the run game. If you stop the run game, we should be able to beat this Houston Texans team. My third key to a victory is that the offense needs to give Cooper Rush some time. They got to be blocking for him because last week's game they weren't protecting Rush. There were mental mistakes that they were making, and that's some of the plays that they practice all this week. You can't be making mental mistakes, because if you make turnovers, then that's a no-go, because then the defense is gonna get tired from being out there on the field. You gotta be making the right plays on offense. And Cooper Rush can't be going for high passes, because that would have been an easy touchdown to CeeDee Lamb if Cooper Rush could have just throw it up here, not like this, because that's not going to work. Because I know they were saying issues about the sun, but they got to get better at making the right plays. This is a big game for the Dallas Cowboys to turn the season around against the Houston Texans. Cooper Rush better step up. Rico Dowdle should be the running back moving forward. I know Zeke Elliott hasn't looked the same since 2018 and 2016 when he had 1,000 yards that season. I expect a big game from Cooper Rush to play like Tony Romo, because Cooper Rush needs to be better, and he needs to be making the right plays. You can't be going for high passes, because on that play when he snapped it, he dropped it. You got to snap it on time and then stay in the pocket. I mean, he's got to stay in the pocket and be making right plays. That's something that I want to see Monday night. I have the Cowboys winning by 27-13. I think the offense finally gets it together, and we finally win our first home game this season. Jake Ferguson better step up, and I remember 2 weeks ago when we got Jonathan Mingo from the Carolina Panthers. I was watching some of the highlights last week when he was with Carolina, and he's able to make the right plays. He kind of has the same speed like Dez Bryant and Amari Cooper. I think Jonathan Mingo can help turn this Dallas Cowboys season around. And but I'm going to stay optimistic. I mean, I know it's been tough these last few games, and I know Dak Prescott's out, but we just gotta stay positive and stay stronger, because I think we can get some wins for Dak, and the earliest that Dak Prescott can return is the Super Bowl. And the last time a team who had a backup quarterback led them to the playoffs and the Super Bowl was, of course, Nick Foles, what he did with Philly when Wentz went out, John Kitna for Arizona, TJ Yates with Houston, even Brock Purdy when Garoppolo went out. I think Cooper Rush can help the Cowboys turn the season around. And I know there's been a lot of talks about the draft and everything. We just gotta be putting up good fights and be making good plays. I mean, we can't be making those bad mistakes, and you can't be going for short yard passes, because that's not going to work. I expect a big game from Cooper Rush, and I expect Micah Parsons and the defense to help the offense out and create more of the turnovers. That's what I want to see on Monday night when they play the Houston Texans in the Texas State rivalry. before I end this video, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my followers and for everyone out there being part of Cowboys Nation. Let's stay optimistic. I know this season's been kind of rough, but I think we could turn this season around on Monday night and start a win streak moving forward to December. So let me know in the comment section below how much you think the Cowboys will win by. Have us winning 27-13. FYI, before I end this video, guys, I'm going to be in Dallas this weekend. Going to go see the Cowboys play the Houston Texans. First time seeing Houston play at AT&T Stadium in the bow of the Lone Star State. I'm super excited about this game. That when the schedule came out in May, they were going to play Houston on Monday night. And I know Dak Prescott's season's over, but they need to get some wins for Dak. But don't worry, guys. We have 3 more years of Dak Prescott with this team because he has 3 years left on his contract, and he'll be back stronger. He's going to learn from this season, rehab and training camp, OTAs, and he'll be back stronger next season, guys. So let's go Cowboys. Let's go prove those doubters wrong. And I'll see you guys Monday night for the big game against Houston. So y'all stay safe, always bet responsibly, and stay healthy out there. And I'll see you guys on Monday night. Peace.